All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. Welcome, welcome. How we doing? Margin, good morning. Tur, Ghost, Rob, John, Sid, all the familiar faces. What's up, guys? Lawrence, Fuman, Golf. What's up, man? Actually was able to get out on the golf course last weekend. Dino, what's up? Chef, how you doing? MU, yeah. MU sick yesterday, man. MU sick. Sick stock. Perfect read yesterday. Perfect levels. What's up, Sonya? How's it going, everyone? Matt? All right. Yeah, good reads yesterday. Just across the board. Great levels on NQ. Obviously price action wasn't great, but the levels were perfect. So, kept us away from some of that shitty action. Nice stuff. Ace, appreciate that, Ace. Thanks for joining the coffee fund. Actually sent the final designs out for the coffee brand. So we're getting there. Morning, everyone. Welcome back. Press that like button as you jump in. It's a brisk 55 degrees out in Naples, Florida today. So the windows are open. The air conditioning is off. And it's a beautiful morning. It is a beautiful morning. Beautiful day to be alive. How's it going, Brian? Omar? Morning, guys. The Christmas tree is gone, sadly. No mas Christmas tree. .22 in New Jersey? Damn. Yeah, that's chilly. It's chilly. All right. We'll wait a few minutes for people to jump in. Hope you guys had a good day yesterday. Just a channeling day. Channel rules applied. Key levels held. A little bit up, a little bit of down. Definitely a more futures environment than an options trading continuation environment on the overall market for sure. And I have enjoyed dabbling myself in some of that futures action. Definitely, I have a video coming out tonight, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. It is basically like the three things that I'm going to focus on for 2026, some things that I've been thinking about. So that's going to be posted tonight. Make sure to be on the lookout for that one. Moved to Florida. You know what, Golf? It's funny. Like when it's cold in Florida, you actually really enjoy it. At least for me, when we get those few cold periods, it's really quite enjoyable. So you gotta embrace the cold when it comes around in Florida, because it doesn't happen often. But it's a nice change. Whenever I walk outside in the morning and I'm like, holy shit, it's nice and cold out, it makes me feel much happier. When it's summer and it's 90 degrees out and 70% humidity, it's terrible. It's absolutely miserable. All right. So let's get started. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Help me continue to grow the live stream into 2026. And here we go. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Man, I can't get that right. I just can't get it right. Why does it change? Why does this change every goddamn time? All right, we're good now. I caught it quickly today. I caught it quicker than yesterday. Let me make sure everything's good here. I'm gonna have to just start only watching what mic I'm on every day. How annoying is that? I gotta figure out why it's doing that. All right. So, anyways, NASDAQ futures yesterday. We talked about these highs here from the Monday high, 25,777 to 25,800. We talked about these lows right here at 25,777 to 25,800. And you can see pretty much the entire day yesterday just faded that level. I mean, rejection, and we're still below that level this morning. It was actually a beautiful, it was actually a really nice little trap off the open yesterday. Would have been a little bit more, I just wasn't as confident because it happened so quickly yesterday, but a beautiful little trap above that level yesterday that created that awesome fade right back down to the demand lows. Just beautiful. It was a sick trade. I didn't have enough confidence to catch it here. I caught it a little bit later, but that was a nice fade right off the gates, straight up, straight down, right off supply, and right off our key levels on the NASDAQ. So really nice there. Definitely showing that there's rejections above, right? Definitely showing that this is going to be a very heavy area to get through. And to me, man, I still, and we'll be honest with you guys, I still am concerned about this area down here in the NASDAQ futures. I still believe that if this does turn into some kind of a, right shoulder here, left shoulder here, right? You got your head over here. And if this turns into some kind of a right shoulder, I truly believe you still could be looking for that pullback back down towards that 25,412 area. All right, I still think that's very possible. I would be open to that possibility. Obviously, you will have to break a major demand zone, which you can see yesterday did a very good job at holding. So it's not so much a trade as of yet because, shorting here would be shorting into the demand lows. Longing here would be longing into the supply highs. So if there is ever a day to walk in with low expectations, I feel like it's got to be today, guys. I mean, you have a very distinct NTZ here. If you want to put that on your charts, you have a very distinct inside day. You are right in the center of yesterday's price action. I mean, you really can't be taking too much action until this high breaks or this, honestly, for me, this low breaks. You probably could get some juice to the downside if you break yesterday's lows, but really for me, it's 25.6. So between 25.6 and 25.8, which is about 200 points in the NASDAQ futures, you are going to get lack of continuation, inside range, right? And that's just what we have to understand. Now, when we find that kind of situation, when we can predict that type of action, this is when I want to start looking for more of that futures trade, right? Trading the channel with futures contracts rather than looking for continuation on options, because I think we all can agree that options are at their best when you have continuation. That's when you make the most money trading options. Nothing beats an options contract when something continues, right? 100%, 200%, ripping, right? That's why we love options. But inside of days like yesterday, very difficult to manage your risk, right? One sporadic candle can turn into a 50% loss in a matter of minutes. And so it's very hard to manage risk when you aren't looking at continuation. And so something that I want to really do better this year is focus on where are the areas I want to look for continuation and where are the areas that I expect consolidation, right? And so right now, there's no reason to look at this and say, oh man, I think we're going to continue today. It's just not there. But that's why we watch the intraday, right? So on the intraday, if we get a break over 800 or we get a break under 600, then we say, hey, this could be a continuation move, right? This could be a continuation move. And so that's what I would look for today. Nice consolidation, 200-point range. Get this thing to break. Until then, take it easy on the option side. You don't need to trade every day. You don't need to lose money trying to trade this range. Let it be, or pop open the futures account. And maybe look to fade some of these highs or long some of these lows for a few points on the NQ or the ES, right? So that's what I'm looking at today. Pretty damn clear. It's about as clear as it gets. You did get a good pullback to the level we wanted yesterday. So do I think this could turn into a long opportunity? Absolutely, right? Absolutely, right? There's probably a lot of people looking for this level to turn into a head and shoulder and a downside move, which I think is very possible. But that could be equally as interesting for the daily 20 hold, the daily 50 hold, right? Daily SMA holds, break and retest, sort of reclaim over 800, and upside continuation on the NQ. So I would be watching both sides today, very open, right? Stay open to both sides. Just look to see which side breaks on the NASDAQ. That's really about it. I'm leaning a little bit on the upside today, and the reason for that is the semiconductors. They do show some strength this morning. So if semis are strong, I absolutely think that will help the NASDAQ higher. That is something to be sort of paying attention to. Make sure to watch that sector. So we'll talk about that momentarily. But let's move on. S&P 500, our pullback area, 69.35. These highs right here, I love that pullback yesterday. And I love that SPY hit the level we talked about, right? What did we talk about yesterday on the SPY? We said the SPY needs 685, 686, right? That's exactly what we said. That's the pullback we want. We want to pull back to the 685, 686 zone. And what did we get yesterday? Pull back to 686. So I love that on the SPY. I'm very interested to see if that pullback does create that new long opportunity that we're looking for. So definitely intrigued by that. If we look at the 4-hour chart on the S&P 500 futures, we can see we have this 69.35 high, and that is the low of day yesterday. So I quite like that pullback. If you take a retracement from the lows of right here to these highs here, right, a nice little 50 to 61.8 retracement of that sort of frothy move. We talked about how we might need to give back some of this frothy S&P 500 straight up move, and that's exactly what we did, right? We gave back about 50% of this move right here to the 69.35. So I quite like that pullback still. As long as you hold the 69.35, as long as you hold right here today, I think the ES can try to build higher for that 69.70, 69.63 break and hold above. That's something I would definitely be looking for. Now, if you do see weakness today, then I would be looking for that break under. The only short for me, and if you go here, right, look at the 30-minute. Let me get a little bit more time. So if you look at the 30-minute here, take a look at this. You have previous very clear highs, previous very clear highs, and look at where the low was created yesterday. Bam, right there. I mean, that's pretty damn nice. So over 69.35, I'm definitely looking for that upside continuation. However, where does the continuation actually start? It starts over 69.70, right? So I don't mind looking for longs here on the future side for some scalps, but where would I look for continuation? Over 70 for the break and retest to the new, towards the 7,000 level. But I love that look. 69.35 is nice. Underneath 69.35, you likely get your 69.13 and daily 20 SMA. So really nice there. If we go to the SPY, we can see this was the pullback we were looking for, the 686, right? Take a look at this 4-hour chart, guys. This could be nice stuff. It really could. If you look at the SPY here, you have major highs, you have major highs, you have major high, you have major highs, and you have major highs. Where did you pull back to yesterday? Right there. I mean, perfect. 685, 686, that was the low of day. If we go into the 15-minute chart, you can see, look at the demand that stepped up off that 686 level yesterday. So that's quite nice. If that maintains, if we can hold that 685, 686, then I think you can start to see that push back higher. I would like to see us over this Tuesday high a day today. That to me is definitely a key spot. I would set an alert there. I would want to see us over the Tuesday high a day. If you can get over Tuesday highs, which you can see is very clearly rejecting this morning multiple times, that is what I would be looking for. So 688.20 over that today, I think you could get maybe a little bit of a spark, maybe back towards this Friday low, back towards that 689.70. So that's something you can look for. I would be watching that 686 demand below as well. Okay, QQQ, very clear level that needs to break. Very clear level that you need to see break out before you start to look for continuation today, and that is right here between the 621, 622 zone. You can see major rejections, major holds, and rejections once again, right? So pretty damn clear there. Nice rejections right here, nice holds right here, and clear rejections right here. So before you can look for any type of continuation on the QQQ today, what do you need? You need to see a break and hold above 622. If you can get this, and you can start to maintain, then I would be confident to look for the continuation move. Without that, what is today? It's just inside of yesterday's range. And that's where you need to be understanding of, hey, I should expect maybe some more consolidation. I need to be careful looking for continuation. I can't put on an options trade with 0 DTE contracts looking for this thing to go straight up. It's just not the environment that we're getting. Where can that actually start? It can start on a reclaim of 622, right? Or that can start on a break below this 617, 618 zone. So very clear channel. Let it be a channel. Don't fight it. You can't fight it. Let it be, all right, and wait for one of these sides to break. All right. That's pretty much it. Pullbacks were good. The pullback yesterday is still setting up a potential hold. No breaks, no breakdowns, no breakouts, consolidation. And it's just another day of watching how the price action develops above some key demands as well as below some key supplies. Which side breaks? You want to stay fluid and wait for one of them to break, right? You don't want to be so heavily leveraged to a single side that if one side breaks, you lose a bunch of money. Wait for one of them to break, then jump on it. Vulture mentality, all right? Wait for it to happen, then jump on the momentum. That's my recommendation here for today. All right. SMH, this is why I'm saying that I think there is potentially some strength out there today on the markets because, man, is this SMH pullback. I mean, it's just exactly what we were looking for. The SMH we said should pull back to the 360 in the daily 20. I mean, look at this perfect pullback yesterday. Man, it really couldn't get any cleaner on the SMH here. Previous highs, previous lows, right? Previous high here. Look at the hold that came in at 360 yesterday. It's pretty damn nice. And it's showing strength this morning as well. So I love this look. This is a perfect break and retest of these highs. It really is, right? Break, retest, looking for that hold. Daily 20s right below. This looks great. And you have some semiconductors that look great as well this morning with this SMH strength. So I would be focused on this today. This is really the only place I'll be looking today, to be quite honest. On the option side, I'm probably only watching semiconductors, NVIDIA, AMD, ASML, MU, really the only ones I'm that interested in today. And it is all based off of this hold that's coming in on the SMH. I would absolutely be paying attention to this today. If you get above this high from Friday, you're probably going to see a really nice push. So I would be watching this Friday high right here, right around this 367.35. If you get a hold above that today, I would assume you're probably pushing towards that all-time high again. So big watch here on SMH. Let's see if it can make a move. IWM is reclaiming 250. I'm not that intrigued by IWM right now. The small caps have seemed to lose a little bit of mojo, right? The small caps have lost a little bit of mojo. They were hot. They were really hot. It's slowing down a little bit. Maybe some rotation out of the small caps. You can definitely look for the 250 to maybe maintain and try to get another push going here. But just know that it's lost a little bit of swagger lately. So I don't know. We'll see. When I look around at the small cap stocks, they're not as sexy as they once were, right? During that big rally. They're not as clean, right? During this rally, it was quite nice. Now it's starting to get a little bit choppy for me. So a little bit of consolidation period doesn't hurt, but, don't be looking for the same type of small cap action we had in the middle of November, early December. It's definitely not the same environment. So just understand that. Let's go to IBIT, Bitcoin. Man, this thing is just so pinned. I'm not sure what to say about Bitcoin as of late. One day it looks weak. The next day it holds strong. It pops in the pre-market. It gives it all back. Really no consistency to this move right now on Bitcoin. And so for the most part, I'm just going to leave it alone and wait for something to happen massive, right? Just wait for that massive day that really shows its hand. For now, really not that much interest. Dow Jones, it's whatever. I mean, it's It's not breaking anything major. It's not breaking out of anything major. Just sort of pulling back, I'd say, to that daily 20, which could be a nice opportunity here in the near future. So you have your daily 20 still below right here at 45 or 48,500. Previous highs, right? Still a fine area for maybe pullback hold. So definitely still interested in seeing if that Dow can be strong, but nothing really that interests me on today's particular trading day. I'm definitely more interested in semiconductors. Semiconductors definitely looks to be the right spot to be focused on for me. All right. So that's that. Let's go into the gold and silver. Let's go to the metals. Gold pushing higher, right, and holding that very key 4,300 area. This low, these highs, these lows. But you are pushing higher into these highs here. So this is the only concern I have for you guys that trade gold today. Just be a little bit careful of what gold does back at these double top highs. Between 44.09 and 44.34, you definitely have the potential of creating some type of a lower high and a downside move. So just be a little bit cautious on that. This is a nice recovery on gold. It's a nice pushback higher after sort of this tank job that we saw yesterday. But you are trading back into a potential failure point. And so I would be very careful on that today. 44.34 to 44.09. Watch out for the failures here. If you get back above this today and hold it, then you will continue higher. But this is the zone to be careful on. If I go to the daily chart, you're going to see, right? Check out this daily chart. You are trading back into these triple top highs. Bam, bam, bam. So right there is very cautious, right? Do we see a rejection candle at these highs? Or do you see this reclaim? That's something you need to be very cautious of today. Okay? Silver, awesome holds. What we talked about yesterday was don't be the person shorting into a hole. Look to see if this creates a long opportunity. And man, it's almost made the entire move back already, which is just wild. Silver, what a trade, man. What a liquid and sort of volatile asset right now, which is providing such massive opportunities. What a pullback to our 70 spot. I mean, this was exactly the spot we were talking about. It was either between 73 or 70. So it broke the 73. It moved back to the 70. The 70 held like an absolute monster. What a beautiful hold at these previous levels at 70. Perfect demand. Look at the reclaim now above 73. So you held the 70. You reclaimed the 73. And this thing looks to be on its way back to the highs, honestly. I would be a little bit careful at this rejection here, these lows here, and this rejection here, which is right here at 75.88. If you hold above 75.88 now, I mean, this thing could be right back at all-time highs. So beautiful holds. I mean, just absolutely perfection holds. Pullback longs created, panic creating opportunity back to the upside. I don't think we could have explained this better yesterday. It was don't just short into a hole because it's down this morning. This has been a very strong asset. Look for the first pullback to create a long opportunity, and that is exactly what silver did. So congrats to anyone that took advantage of that pullback yesterday. I would be intrigued today. I can't trade silver on my futures account. I got to figure out if I can get permission for that. I tried to do it yesterday, and it rejected me. But, yeah, it might be worth trying to look into that because these are some nice levels. All right. Let's continue. You could just trade like SLV with the option side, which could be nice as well. SLV pulled back to like these lows here, 64, reclaim that. Held back above here, 67. Yeah, maybe look at the SLV today. All right. Let's jump into some equities. If you guys could, please press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's get 1,000 likes. Press that like button, subscribe. It looks like we've lost some viewership, man. Sad to see. Sad to see. I need your guys' help to get it back up. Looks like we've lost almost I mean, let's see what it's at. Like, people usually start to come in a little bit more around 8:45. Maybe we're a little early still. But I think we've lost like 500 people. I wonder if they're on X. How many people are watching on X? Which is, if that's what it is, then understandable. Let's see. Who's watching on X right now? We got 314 people on X. All right. Yeah. Seems about right. Maybe some people decided to go to X. All right. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Here we go. Tesla. So, really nice. Right to our target. Right to our 460 target. That was our target for the downside. It was these highs and these lows turning into lows again. The low volume area. Right? Remember this. The low volume that we talked about. Maybe it's the holiday. That's probably what it is. Here's our low volume that we talked about, right? And how Tesla could navigate quickly through this low volume into the 460 low. So, I mean, just spot on. Just spot on. Perfect low volume area, perfect opportunity to the downside, and pretty much just navigated through that entire low volume area, back down into the key demand at 456, 458, 460 zone. Perfect low right at these previous highs. And so Tesla was about as textbook as it gets yesterday. Now, here's the thing we didn't get on Tesla, which pretty much just sort of invalidated a trade entry for me. I wanted to get a retest of the breakdown point at 474. So I wanted to see us come back up and retest this and then drop it, right? And so what did we do off the open on Tesla? We pretty much just tanked off the open. And so, right, this was your first 2 minutes on Tesla yesterday, and that just instantly killed the trade, in my opinion. It instantly killed the trade. It's dead, right? I can't do anything after 2 minutes of straight red. So, tough one. Eventually faded more, right? And eventually faded even more here into close. A really nice fade into close. I didn't even realize that. I wasn't really watching yesterday towards the close, which I'm actually very happy about. I need to stop watching things towards the close because it's pointless for me. Just go out and enjoy your life a little bit. But really nice fade into close. So it ended up being decent for the downside. But the way it happened, I would say sort of difficult. Right? I wouldn't say that was that clean of an entry criteria yesterday. I would have loved to get maybe this little pop and fade. So that didn't happen, so I didn't catch it. And now the short side trade is over. Right? You have to understand that short side trade is most likely over if you are holding these highs, if you are holding these highs, if you are holding these lows, and you can see right here we're holding that low. So not so much of a short side entry anymore. It's sort of done, right? This low volume short is over. So you have to sort of understand that today. Now, if you break under yesterday's lows, then you do enter another sort of interesting area for maybe some further downside. So I would watch that as well. The interesting spot that I would watch today, there's two. There's 466, which is these lows here. I would watch that 466, and I would also watch for a pop back into 474. 474, I think, is still needing to be retested, right? Why do I say that? Well, you squeezed right under it in the after hours, right? You gapped down, and so there's a gap there, right? Take a look at this Tesla Daily. Tesla Daily has a gap to fill now at 474. So I think it is very possible that you do get a push back up towards that 474 level. And maybe, right, there is a possible long opportunity back to that level, right? I mean, Tesla's been a very strong stock, and the recent pullback is good, right? It gapped up from here to here. It went straight up and gapped up, and all you did yesterday was what? Pulled back. You pulled back to fill the gap up. Again, no good deed goes unpunished. So you can't gap up on Tesla and not expect it to have another move lower, right? So is this all that bad for Tesla yesterday? No, it's just a move through a low volume area, as you'd expect, right? It moved through the low volume area where you went straight up. If you go straight up on low volume, you are going to come down on low volume. It's as simple as that. So, good to understand the big picture here. If it holds this retest at 458, 460, maybe you still have this continuation trade to look for, and maybe yesterday was a blessing for the longs. We'll see. I would want to see a reclaim over 466. I would want to see us back into 474. Maybe you can look for that long back to 474, or I would just look to see what happens at 474. I think the next trade that I take on Tesla will be at this level. It will either be a rejection play, right, or it will be a reclaim ripper. But it will be based off of 474. And that's what I would look for, right? That's what I would look for. NVIDIA looking strong to start the morning. However, NVIDIA has still not come back fully to the level I want to see. But I am starting to, think about whether the 50 SMA is enough for it to hold. I'm going to try to stay true to my guns, which is 184.50 is the level I need to see get tapped. You have not hit it yet. You are holding the daily 50. You are holding the daily 50, which is pretty nice. But I still think you're going to maybe get that 184.50 touch. So we'll see. We'll see what the market looks like today. We'll see what NVIDIA looks like today. If we go to 191 before we hit 184, then that trade, obviously, I'm just not going to catch it. I need it to come back to this level for me. So that's something I'll definitely be looking for. I'd look for NVIDIA to come back to this 184.50, and then I'd look to pick it up. That's what I'll be waiting on. 191 is still a very heavy rejection point. I would make sure you're thinking about your risk reward here, right? If you do long NVIDIA, your risk reward is really just a 1-to-1 at this point. I really don't see it being that great. So over 191 or back at 184.50 is what I would be looking for. AMD, right off of our 210 level. We talked about this level yesterday on AMD. We had our 210, 209 zone. AMD pulled back to it. AMD ripped right off of it. Previous lows, previous highs, previous low, and look at that low from yesterday. I mean, right in our zone. Could not be more perfect. 209, 210, right off that area, straight up. Still not that interesting of a trade. It needs to get over 217 for me. Need to break this Tuesday high, this Wednesday high, this Thursday high, or Friday high. Over 217 is what I need to see happen here. Obviously, just sort of watching the semis to see if they find strength today. Broadcom, nothing new here. Same holds, same shit, right? Just sort of holding this key level. Not much to report there. MU, insane, man. What a beauty. I mean, just pure beauty. If we go back to our MU from yesterday, or hey, let's just go over to X, right? We go over to X. Make sure you guys follow me on X. I post a lot of charts and a lot of ideas and things to be paying attention to, so make sure to follow me over there on X. Look at this beauty. Look at this day over day. Here was our yesterday analysis on MU. We were talking about that retest here of these previous highs, right? Break, retest, long. Take a look at MU. Perfect. Absolutely gorgeous. What a stock. Break, retest, long. I mean, it could not be cleaner. So what an absolute beauty MU has been. Gorgeous. Make sure to follow me here. Desi_trade. Now, it's sort of over, right? This is what I like. You guys know I like to say, if you don't catch it, then you have to sometimes understand that it's gone, right? This is one of those situations. I can't now look at MU and say, oh, man, what a great opportunity this is. The opportunity was yesterday, right? Truth be told. So a little bit careful now. It's sort of out of the picture for me now. But, hey, if we get a clean hold of 295, then maybe there's a reason to look for it again today, right? Maybe that 300 push is coming in. So I would be watching that 295 spot. That's the highs here from Wednesday into Friday. This was a gorgeous retest long. Congratulations to you guys that caught that. Over 295, you probably do see your 300 push. Okay. TSM looks strong, but it has no entry point. I mean, I just don't have an entry point here for you guys, unfortunately. It's just sort of grinding higher. So really not much there. ASML is something to pay attention to. Let me show you why. Take a look at this ASML here. Previous highs, 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 previous highs. Look at the hold. I mean, that's pretty nice stuff. So I would be paying attention to ASML today. If the semi sector does get strong, I love the reclaim back above this level after dripping below it. I mean, it's pretty obvious that it's a level, right? I not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 into lows. So keep an eye on that 1060 spot on ASML. If it can maintain this area, I think it can try to build. Super low liquidity stock. Definitely not something that I would be trading with large size, or maybe even, it's better on the share side. But you can see, look at this dirty action. It's disgusting. But overall, when you zoom out and look at a daily chart, it's pretty decent. So I would be watching that. Just keep ASML, not so much a stock that I trade often because of that spready action, but that is a pretty clean 1060 spot. So you can keep an eye on that today. Okay. Apple, nothing to report. That's a total, just a sort of a snooze fest over here. Got to get over 277. Google, not bad. It's definitely tempting. You can see the battle that's going on here in our zone, our 311.85 to 314. Definitely attempting. These highs, these lows, right? It's trying. It needs to hold on to that. It needs to hold on to that. And you need the market to get some kind of a push. You need the market to get some juice. Without the juice, then this doesn't really go anywhere. But it's an interesting spot. I would continue to watch that. Amazon's got to get over 233. Really not much to report there. Microsoft, not much to report, man. These stocks, look at this. For the last week and a half, 2 weeks, nowhere. Just nowhere. So nothing much to report there. If crypto is weak today, here's one spot I would pay attention to on weakness on the market and on crypto. It would be Coinbase. Coinbase is holding on by a thread here on the gap fill level, 231.50. If you get a clean failure below that, there is a gap to fill below. I would be watching that. Lululemon, not a bad looking hold here, starting to come in. Take a look at this Lulu daily chart. If I can zoom in, I love when TOS does this. Okay, bear with me. There we go. Take a look at this Lulu daily. So previous major daily highs here at 208. Look at what's starting to happen here. Starting to maintain 208. Sort of interesting. Does it still need to fill this gap? Maybe. Is it actually just ready to continue off the good earnings report? Maybe. I would keep an eye on that. 208, Lululemon, key level. Here's one. eBay. Shout out Tim. I don't know if you're watching, Tim, but Tim from the mentorship has been sitting in this swing trade on eBay, finally getting paid on this idea. Take a look at the idea. I mean, it's such a beautiful trade. You have a clear weekly level right here, weekly high. Here's weekly highs. Look at these lows. Beautiful hold above this weekly high right here. That's gorgeous. Nice curling action here. And guess what? If we can have a strong day on eBay here again, take a look at what's above, right? Take a look at this right here. Look at that gap right there. So if you can get above this 88.60, if you can get above this daily 100, take a look at what's sitting and waiting for you up here. A nice little gap. So actually, it's a nice big gap. It's not even a little gap. That's a pretty big gap right there. So I don't mind that, right? Beautiful consolidation on eBay. Nice hold of the daily 200. Nice curler. Get above this level, right? Turn this into a higher low and get yourself a gap fill. That could be a pretty nice thing to be stalking. But again, that took weeks, so it's not so much like a today trade. It's like a overall just monitor that position. Okay, that's all the stuff I got today. And you can see NASDAQ actually is sort of a nasty rejection coming in here, right? So, I mean, I'll leave you guys with this today. It's about as clean as it gets in terms of an inside day. I mean, you could not make a more sideways chart here. You really couldn't, right? You can't make a more sideways chart. This NASDAQ is completely sideways versus yesterday's price action. So you're going to get moves like this that make you think we're going to tank. You're going to get moves like this that make you think we're going to break out. You're going to then get moves like this, which make you think you're going to tank even more. And then you're going to get a move like this that makes you think you're going to break out. And then guess what's next? You're going to get a move like this that makes you think you're going to tank, right? And if you are changing your thoughts on a minute-by-minute basis based off these volatility events during the intraday, this is when you get wrapped up and make some poor decisions. All you need to do here is think about everything inside of this zone being pointless until it breaks a low or it breaks a high, right? Everything else is pointless. You have to pay attention to what happens at the lows, pay attention to what happens at the highs. Anything that is inside of that range is designed, whoops, mic almost fell, is designed to make you emotional, to make you try to catch the breakdown, try to catch the breakout. Hey, I'm going to short here and hopefully this fails and then it does this, right? Don't do it, man. I'm telling you, don't let that happen to you. Wait for something to break here. Don't get wrapped up in this volatility. You can see what happened yesterday. How many people you think longed the shit out of this market over here yesterday and got totally smacked, right? You long here, right? I can tell you what some people's day looked like. And this used to, right? You have to think about this because this used to be my day. This is probably some of yours days. This is probably some of your older days, right? You long this move, you get smacked on, and you basically sit here all day and wait and hope that this gets back up above it. And it does this, right? So you're long here, right? It goes down. You're like, oh, man, this shit's dead. And then you start to get this upside. You're like, oh, baby, here we go. We might actually get my win, right? This might come back for me. Okay, great. Let's see. And then it does this. And you're like, oh, my God, this is bullshit. And then you start to see it later in the day. Oh, my God, here we go. A little, 3 o'clock power hour. It's going to go higher for me. Trust me, right? 3 o'clock hits, power hour. Oh, my God, here we go. My contracts might get back to break even. And then guess what happens then? Straight back down, right? Bam. It's just don't get in that situation. That is the type of situation we have to avoid like the plague as traders. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you don't, then you have not traded long enough. You know exactly that type of day that I'm talking about. And trust me, I've done it. I've done it plenty of times, and it's some of the worst days I've had in my life. I mean, it's such a miserable feeling. So avoid that like the plague. Avoid it. Don't get stuck in those situations, please. That's when you start to hate trading. That's when you start to make every excuse in the world about how it's rigged and how you're just not a good trader and how you shouldn't be doing this anymore and all these thought processes that go through your head. It's because of days like that. And it's avoidable. It is. It's avoidable. You just have to avoid it. All right. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the live stream. If you guys could, before you head out, please help me get to 1,000 likes. We have 1,700 people here. Help me get to 1,000 likes. Help you get YouTube. Maybe if we show YouTube a higher like ratio, because we don't have as many people, probably because of the holidays. But if we get as many likes, then they'll be like, okay, all right, let's push this live stream out a little bit more. Press that like button. Help me out. Subscribe to the channel. Again, if you want to join the community, 26% off into 2026. It's down below in the description, the 2 links to join. Make sure to look out for some YouTube videos here in the coming days, the coming weeks. Got some good ideas for you guys. And I will see you tomorrow. Peace out.